Hello, this is Old School with whatthebuck.net. Coming from our training camp today, we had an afternoon practice that was interrupted by a rainstorm and some serious lightning. It was a 2:30 to 4:45 practice. Got slid back almost an hour, but the guys were out there in pads again. There was contact. We didn't have a goal line session, but there was some 2-minute sessions that went on. There were 9-on-7s, some decent work in the running game, and we had everybody in pads today that's supposed to be there. So we had Davin Joseph and Jeremy Trueblood and James Lee and Michael Spurlock. All the guys were back out there that were not able to practice before. So it was the first time we really saw the entire squad out there on the playing field. Now, to update people on the hot points that people seem to really want to focus on, Brian Price looked about the same, as was tweeted by, I believe, TBO Buccaneers. He did come up a little gimpy on one play, but he was back in for reps again. So he's still getting the same sort of metered reps that he's been getting the entire camp. Daquan Bowers continues to get metered reps. Regis Ben was out there full go. I say full go. He looks full go to me. Now, if it was full contact, would he be in the same situation? I don't know that that's the case. But he was out there, and he was certainly catching passes and in on all the different lineups and formations, etc. The interesting piece for me today had some people ask me to look at specific individuals. Once again, Ahmad Black was sort of a ghost. I didn't see him show much of anything. That doesn't mean he's not a good player. It just means I didn't see him pop out during drills. Anthony Gator, another guy that we were looking at trying to focus on today, did come up with a pick today, had a couple of nice plays. The secondary in general looked pretty decent, except for in the 2-minute drill that Josh Johnson executed, where he actually kind of diced him up pretty good and got down there, got a touchdown, which was actually right in front of Larry Asante, who you guys had asked me to pay attention to as well. Larry Asante is an interesting character. He looks the part. He's obviously a cerebral player because of the things we've seen him do and say before. And he generally, I think, looks pretty good, but in that particular play, it looked like he was out of position, and Josh was able to go right behind him for the touchdown. That was the only score the offense had in the 3 2-minute drills that were done. The defense won both of the others. And in the third one, with Rudy Carpenter in there, I don't know that it was Rudy's fault. I don't actually think it was. The defense absolutely crushed the line, got 2 sacks, and really kind of stifled that entire drive. Now, with regards to the players that just came back up, I was really concerned about what the right side of that line looked like, generally speaking, because the defensive line's been eating its lunch. So I figured maybe if we got True and James Lee and Davin back in there, it would solidify it. And it certainly looked to at the beginning. Trueblood was getting beaten pretty regularly. It looked like James Lee had a better day than Trueblood did. That's not my anti-Trueblood sentiment, because I'm not really anti-Trueblood. I just don't know that he can move fast enough for pass blocking. In run blocking, he was mauling people, just like my man Chris says. But in pass blocking, he was getting beat pretty handily by a couple of guys. And a guy that really kind of sparked today, and I've been high on what Kyle Moore's been doing in camp. He had another good day today. AC had a good day today. But Michael Bennett was all over the place. Michael Bennett was playing his ass off today. He was in on a ton of plays. Outside moves, inside moves. He was absolutely everywhere. It didn't look like they could block him. Daquan, same thing. He had a good day today. They were spelling him. They were really mixing up the lineup. And then at one point during practice, and I think we have a picture of this, Gerald McCoy went off the field. It looked to me like he was working out his bicep, but the report is that it was a shoulder. He came back out, had ice on the shoulder. The team has released a statement saying it was a shoulder, nothing serious. It's going to be day-to-day. It was kind of a shame because he's having a great practice, as he usually does. He was out there early, and it was about 1 trillion degrees out there, guys, and he's out there moving dummies around so he can get in extra work. So I'd hate to see him. Obviously, we'd hate to see anyone get injured, but it sucks when you see someone putting in all that extra effort and coming in with such momentum to then get dinged up. So we'll find out what that's all about and let you guys know more as soon as we do. I mentioned the Gator interception. The other thing that was kind of a blow-up in practice today, and a blow-up is probably a bit of an overstatement, K2 went out for a route in one of the drills, and there was a collision between him and Albert Mack. K2 didn't apparently like that there was contact, even though Emack pulled off. It could have been a lot worse, and he really took a cheap shot on Mack while he was on the ground, which started a scuffle. Not necessarily the brightest move, considering there were 4 other defensive players and no other offensive players around there. Scuffle ensued, got them separated. What was really impressive to me, though, is Adam Hayward dressed Kellen down. Now, you couldn't hear the words, but it looked like the conversation a father would have with a son. Kellen walked straight over, said something to Albert Mack that seemed like an apology. Again, I'm inferring a lot here by the body language I saw. Wrapped his arm around him. They had a hug. They hugged it out, and everything was fine. It was a cheap shot by Kellen. I don't know why he was pissed off about it. It was a clean shot, but at the end of the day, it didn't matter. There's a lot of intensity. These guys, I think, really want to hit someone else. This Kansas City game can't come soon enough for what's happening out there at camp. Now, for those of you who are preoccupied with the $19 million punter/long kicker, he was booming the ball today. He was actually out there taking punts, and not only was he placing them well inside the 10-yard line, but he was putting a lot of air underneath him as well. I think the biggest concern we're going to have, and what the coaching staff's going to have to make sure he doesn't do, is outkick the coverage, because that can be just as dangerous as anything else. So, on an overview, it was a little sloppy. The field was wet. There were some drops today that I don't think you would normally have. There were some slips. which caused some of the drops, not just from like Ed Gant. You guys know I've been high on Ed. Ed didn't have a great day today. He had a couple of drops, which he's not had throughout camp so far. A couple times that was when he was cutting out of a break, his foot would go, and then the timing was off. Same thing for Des Briscoe. I did watch Weber a little bit more today. You guys told me to watch Weber. Good hands. I don't see why everyone's so excited about him, but there wasn't an opportunity to do a lot of exciting things today either. Mike Williams continues to look phenomenal. LeGarrette Blount looked good today. Bradford I don't see enough of in practice to know whether he looks good, bad, or indifferent. Mason Foster got a lot of the first team reps today at Mike linebacker. They had Quincy at Mike linebacker for a period of time as well. It looks like they liked moving guys around. They wanted to see how people would play together as they shuffled people in and out of the lineup. Roy Miller had a good practice as well at the nose tackle position. So that's a summary. The camp looked good. It was a little sloppy today, and I don't know how much of that is fatigue, how much of that is weather, and how much of that is a stop-start due to the weather. But the one thing that wasn't sloppy from the core guys, from your Mike Williams, your Sammy Strotter, your Regis Ben, those guys are showing great hands throughout camp, and Josh Freeman looks really solid. Josh Johnson actually took some shots downfield today too, which was nice to see because he's been captain check down. So that's the result of today's training camp. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Tomorrow's the night practice. We'll be out there. I'll do a video on that one probably much later than this one. Get it put up there, and then we'll have another practice on Monday. They're having some sort of a VIP session that I'll be out there. I'll keep doing these videos as often as they have camp. Thanks for listening. And it was nice meeting you guys. I met a couple of you guys out there at camp today, so it was nice meeting you guys.